Hi, and welcome again to this latest episode of La Plata Ward 4 Update podcast and video. This is David Jenkins, La Plata Town Council member from Ward 4, and your host for this podcast and videos, now also available on YouTube and YouTube Music. Again, please note that the opinions expressed here are solely my own and do not express the views of the Town of La Plata. Now, this episode is a second in a series of podcasts about the Town Council's review of the fiscal year FY 2026 operating, capital improvement plan, and enterprise fund budgets for 2026. This episode today is about the Council's second review of the proposed operating budget and our first review of, of two proposed budget or draft versions of the FY 26 enterprise funds, which consist of water, sewer, sanitation, stormwater management. And these two options are one enterprise fund is with the 457 deferred compensation, and the other draft of the enterprise budget is with the pension plan. And again, this discussion was held at our last meeting on March 25th, 2025. So please note that these budgets were provided to us Friday morning, March the 21st. I had a chance to review that, and so I sent my initial draft comments and emailed them to the Town Council and our Finance Director on Sunday afternoon on March the 23rd. Excuse me. And again, the sources for this podcast are all the material that are provided to the council when they post the Town Council agenda, and then posted to the public, which is typically posted on the Friday before the council meeting. In this case, the agenda was posted to us and the public on Friday, March the 21st. First, let me talk a little bit about a slight change in the proposed or the revised budget review calendar. The only significant change is down here on the second page where my cursor is. We did not take any vote on the proposed operating budgets at our March 25th meeting. I felt we didn't have enough information and wanted to perhaps do some more reading and analysis before we made any decision. So the next time hack will be April the 8th coming up, where we will again talk about the operating budget and maybe come to a conclusion and take a preliminary vote, and then again talk about the two draft versions of the enterprise fund. So that's really the only change in the calendar where we review the budget. So let's first go on to now the Finance Committee at this meeting also provided us with some additional comments at the March 25th meeting. These comments included the following materials, and again, unfortunately, these materials were provided to us right before the meeting started. So I did not have a chance to review this material. I will now have a chance to do that, but again, I wish we could get this information before the meeting starts, so we have a chance to really research and digest the information. So the first was a fact sheet about the state of U.S. public pensions in 2024, and the other material was a sources for 457 pension plan versus pension plan comparison. So they were attempting to show us the pros and cons about the 457 plan versus the pension plan. And to be fair, the data that they provided us does show, at least their sources show, perhaps the 457 is a better route. I'm personally not convinced of that yet. I still need to do a little bit more research into that fact. And I would just refer you to the Town Council YouTube video, which has been posted, and I'll put this in the notes on my YouTube video and also on my podcast. And you can begin to watch the Finance Committee's report and this material. They presented it to us starting at 10 minutes and 18 seconds into the meeting. I'm sorry, let me go back. First, we had a presentation from our finance director of the monthly March 2025 report. She does this on a monthly basis. So that discussion, again, correct myself, the finance report for the month of March provided by the finance director starts at 10 minutes and 18 seconds into the meeting, again on the La Plata YouTube channel. The actual finance committee and then our budget discussion with them and the enterprise fund budgets started at minute 28 and went for probably the rest of the meeting. So I just wanted to show you that, and so you have an idea where to look if you want to go back and look at the video and focus on that as well. Now I want to go through kind of a brief summary of both options for the enterprise funds. And again, this is water, sewer, stormwater management, and sanitation, trash and recycling. So each budget, they have a general overview, budget overview for each item: sanitation, sewer, water, and water fund, and stormwater management. And I'll be very frank, and you'll see it in the discussion. When we had an opportunity for council members, including myself, to question the finance director on these two enterprise budgets, she was very upfront and saying that there's not necessarily a whole lot of difference between the two budgets with respect to income and revenues, and so there's really not a whole lot of difference. But I just wanted to show you what these look like. So you can see how, again, it does an overview for each of the enterprise fund, sanitation, sewer, water, and stormwater management. But I think this is more insightful. These are graphs which shows and again, this particular is the budget, enterprise budget with the 457 pension plan, and this is showing fiscal year expenses for each element. So in this instance, this is sanitation, which again trash, so you can see how our expenses have increased, and that would be consistent with the growth that the town has experienced, and it goes all the way back to fiscal year 2021. What they mean by collection and conveyance, that's the water system. That's the sewer, the pipes, the pump station to get it to the treatment plant. So you can see our fiscal year expenses for that enterprise fund over the last number of years. The next chart shows treatment plant. This is the actual sewage treatment plant. And I know we've done a lot, and that's in the capital improvements program, but we've done a lot of expansion with different systems to help improve the operation of that facility. Then production and storage. This is the water. Again, our water source is from aquifers. We have wells, and then we have storage tanks that maintain the water and the water supply and water pressure. So you can, again, on both of these, you can see the fiscal year expenses for both treatment plant, sewage treatment plant, water production and storage facilities. This next one is, again, distribution. This is how the water is distributed, the pipe system. Again, fiscal year expenses. And then stormwater management, fiscal year expenses. This has changed since a couple of years ago, as the state has mandated that each community and county are responsible for stormwater management in their particular community. So that has, you can see, a pretty significant, that has increased over the years. This next one now is the other enterprise fund with a pension. So it's, again, slightly different, but it's the same format. We have a fund balance or fund budget overview, sanitation, sewer, water, stormwater management, and I'll get to one point at the end of this particular discussion. So the next chart, again, is what I believe are the important elements here. Again, showing with the pension under the enterprise fund proposal, the fiscal year expenses, again, the sanitary fund, collection and conveyance, that's the water system and getting it out to the community. The next one is the sewage treatment plant expenses, water production and storage. That is, you produce the water from the wells, and you have storage in the water. We have several water tanks in the town. And then, and finally, the water distribution, the piping system. And then again, the stormwater management expenses over the last number of fiscal years. As I said earlier, there is not a significant difference between those two proposed budgets for the enterprise fund that's with the 457 and with the pension plan. But one important point for both of those funds, both those enterprise funds, there is a suggestion or a proposal that there would be a there would be a 3% rate increase for those particular facilities. And I know we've had those before, but this is an attempt to not have great fluctuations, because some years we've had, frankly, significant rate increases versus very little. So instead of we're just trying to maintain if needed, to have a more relevant, if we need a rate increase, to avoid the ups and downs of one year maybe a large increase and next year not much. We're just trying to balance that out. And we're basing this also on a report that we commissioned last year. We haven't seen the full results. It's not ready for public release, but it does justify this in terms of our financial stability, both under this budget and out in future years. So just be aware of that. Again, we haven't voted on this yet. That'll come on April, sometime later on in April, starting at April 8th and April the 22nd, or April 15th and April 22nd. So there's been no decision yet, and there'll be public hearings as well. Now, our next town council meeting is April the 8th, again Tuesday, 6 p.m. As I alluded to, we're going to be talking about the fee schedules for all our fees for plans and permits, and also the enterprise funds. And then we're going to continue our discussion of our operating budgets, as well as, again, our first discussion about the enterprise fund budget. So it's going to be a busy night, which is okay, because that's what we need to do to get this in place prior to the start of the fiscal year, which starts July 1st. But we need to have it in place or approved by mid-June. But in essence, we want to do this before the new council takes office on May the 13th. But again, there'll be at least 2 public hearings, so you'll be able to have input to provide your feelings on the budget. This is my attempt to provide some education before those hearings to happen. And then I want to close out by just saying, because I'm not running for office again, I won't be on the town council. I will be changing my La Plata Award for Update podcast and video. I'm going to be evolving into something else called Crosswalks. So why am I doing this? Well, again, I will no longer be on the La Plata Town Council, and I wanted a name that would better reflect what I tried to do, but maybe expand it a little bit to bring some independent, factual discussions about planning and development in La Plata, but in the county, and perhaps related to Southern Maryland, because we're all part of a larger region. So I'm trying to expand it, but here's some things that I hope to keep the same or maybe expand into. One, I hope to have maybe future interviews with experts from the planning field, policymakers, and other leaders in the planning development field. I think that can bring some personalization and some other ideas other than me. Again, I want to continue some discussions about development, zoning, and community planning. And then again, the basic element is to continue my commitment to informing and engaging our community, because we all live here. We all have a stake in our community. So I think it's important that I stay engaged, but more importantly, hopefully I can provide some information so we can all make better decisions or better informed decisions about what happens to our community. So with that, I'll close out this episode. I'll again be coming back on after our April 8th meeting to provide a summary about that discussion about our budgets. So again, I appreciate everybody for listening and watching. Your comments and questions are always welcome. So you can email me at djenkins@townoflaplata.org. And with that, hopefully we'll get through this weird weather, but it is spring. Baseball season has started. So please stay well, and also please be sure to vote on May the 6th for all the folks running for mayor and town council. Thanks a lot.